Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the April 8th, 2024 Hamilton Township Budget Workshop meeting to order. The meeting is being held with the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, may you please call the roll?
Mr. Quintero?
Here.
Mr. Whalen?
Here.
Ms. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Carabelli?
Here.
Mr. Ty is absent.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand for the flag salute and then remain standing for the invocation, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, whose love knows no bounds, strengthen our hearts in compassion and generosity, and may we build this Hamilton community up in all we do. May we look to serve you as you taught us and spread your message of hope and love. We make all these intentions and those in the silence of our heart. Amen. I just wanted to make this known before we start this budget workshop. There are no formal minutes for this workshop. This meeting, however, is being recorded and will be posted on the Township website. All comments and questions can be submitted in writing to the clerk's office. So up first, we have legal. And I have with us, if you can please state your name and then for the record, and we can begin that way.
Good evening. Jennifer Eugene, Deputy Township Attorney, and for Alyssa Schrager, the Director of Law.
Thanks, Jen.
And I also have with us here,
Andrea Bracis, I'm the Administrative Secretary in the Department of Law.
Good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Jen, I usually start off, anything that you want to present before we get into the program of going through the salary and wages and operating the worksheets that we have in front of us. Anything that you would like to highlight this year, anything for 2024 that you think of particular note?
There are some things that have gone up slightly, but a lot of that is due to the costs that we're getting from providers, such as like with postage and things. A lot of our budget, none of it is concrete. We never know what's going to come across our desk. Are we going to get a new lawsuit that we have to handle, which means we're going to increase in production and discovery costs, which means that we're going to go through more paper and more copies. Are we going to have to do more binding? Are we going to need to go to, send more stuff out via overnight or for the process server? So some of these things for us, it's kind of an estimate of what we think we're going to need. We always try to be conservative with that, but it's never an absolute because we don't know what lawsuits are going to come throughout the year.
Okay. Do you want to give us, I know we have the employment rosters, but I didn't see any, if I remember correctly, it's the same as last year with your employment sheets. That's page 3 of the township personnel status.
Well, we hired Mara Breath, who is now our paralegal.
Okay.
She's worth her weight in gold with the amount of assistance that she provides to us. Our administrative assistants are Sherry Key, as well as Andrea Bracis. So we now have a full staff of 5 individuals. 2 attorneys, 1 paralegal, and 2 support staff.
Now, is your one paralegal specialist moving on to another title in 2020?
She is.
Okay, that's what I
yes.
noticed. Okay.
Yes, she is moving. Her initial title was an introductory title. It's a year-long title, and then after that, she is to change title and then move through the steps.
Okay, I thought I read that in the worksheet as well. Okay. Do you guys want to jump in? Any questions for Jen before we get started?
Not this minute.
Okay. All right, let's quickly, we'll move through, I guess up first is prosecutor.
Sure.
We'll do that one first.
So with the prosecutors, the one thing that we have found is that we need to keep, in order to stay competitive, we had to raise our rate to $350 per session. We are doing that all-inclusive, which means that both the prep work that they need to do for the session as well as the actual session is included in that amount. There are 10 sessions a week. We have we have one firm as well as an individual prosecutor who are handling all of these sessions, and they're covering it. So we really don't usually go into the municipal court unless it's a specific case, but they're handling all of that.
Okay.
We did switch it to an RFP, so they're no longer employees receiving salaries and benefits.
Okay. And this may be a question for Kathy or for you. I guess in just looking at the worksheet, I guess in 2022, this wasn't a line item, correct?
That's correct. And 2023 was the first year that we switched it to an RFP.
Okay.
So this is the second year that we're doing this as an RFP as opposed to salary and wages as employees.
Okay. I got you. I understand. Anyone have any questions on, I really didn't have.
Answered my question.
Yeah, I really didn't have much on the municipal prosecutor.
We did lease equipment for them, so we're purchasing that. We're on payment 9 of 24 of that, so we'll go halfway through next year with that before that's paid off. But that was equipment that they needed there. And then this just covers any supplies also that they have for the office, their paper, anytime they have to print, as well as just office supplies that they'll need for that space.
Okay. That's fine. I'm fine with that. You want to move over to legal services? Is that up next for everyone? Well, that's the only other category. So, didn't have any questions on the first page. Anyone?
I just saw page 3, there's a 73% reduction in the computer maintenance agreement. Or is that going in-house now?
So part of that is we have the last year that we can use ARP monies. And so we weren't sure, so initially we'd put that part in the budget, but because we can use ARP monies for part of the services that we did, it's not required for this year for that to be in the budget.
But we could expect it next year.
Yes, sir.
So how much of ARPA funding did we use on that? Was that roughly 8 to 10,000?
It was
like
about
that?
almost 20,000
Okay.
total,
Okay.
I believe, from when we started implementing the NetDoc system. What this system is we
70, yeah.
we learned through COVID that we needed to put as much of our things online as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our legal online cloud system. So it doesn't matter where any of us are, if we have access to the internet, we can get to our documents. We have started, a lot of this has been Mara, is to upload a lot of our documentation to the system. So we've inputted it to such a way that I can take an email that someone sends me from my computer, hit a button, and it automatically saves to the cloud. Along with documents, we're saving anything that we do to the system, as opposed to just the hard drive for the township and the server that we use for the township. And it just makes it really easy if, say, one of us is working from home to be able to pull something up without having to do the back and forth emails and such.
And access it, yep.
And it's also great when we have to send documents, because sometimes when we're working with our outside counsel, they need us to send documents. And it's a great way that we can upload everything and send things out, whether it be for discovery or whether it be that our outside counsel need, without trying to, okay, let me send you one email at a time because they're so big. I can send them a link, they can download everything. So it has really made our processes a lot easier having this system. We're still learning it, but it does a lot of great things for us to help us be more efficient.
Efficient. Great. Thank you, Jen. Page 4, legal services. I just noticed, I mean, obviously there was, this is maintained as it was in 2023, the budget line item of 70,000. So this is for outside litigation support and
Yes.
Legal services. This is a projected of what we feel is for 2024, how we're going to be impacted, and just the cases that we're dealing with right now.
This is for cases we're dealing with right now and for what could happen. Because again, like as I said in the beginning, this is when we don't know. We do have a couple of new cases, which yes, we've had to hire outside counsel for, and they charge by the hour. And so and depending on how long these cases go, is going to dictate how much we spend on this. So this is where we wish we had a crystal ball to know, but we don't.
Well,
And one year we can use little or nothing, and another year we can run through it and be trying to move money from other
right. Well, I noticed that even in the previous years, how things have kind of ebbed and flowed. Certain years were better than others, but, other years we were short, slightly.
Yes.
Well, actually by a significant amount in 2019, but, okay. Just wanted a clarification on that. Anyone with any?
Zero. Mental equipment.
I mean, significant amount of these were flat, or there may have been even a reduction on the percentages, so I can't argue too much with that.
Yeah, small item decreases.
I really didn't have any more questions on
No, I mean,
under
a
legal.
lot of the
Making
decreases, small item decreases, but they're still decreases.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're off the hook. No, no, but I mean, I've gone through the numbers several times, and there wasn't really anything that stood out at me. I just
Jumps
wanted
out.
that one a clarification regarding the additional outside legal services and how, I guess you and Alyssa come up with maybe like a forecast for the year, but outside that, I don't really see anything that's, thank you for all you
Jumps
do.
We try to
Yes.
keep it tight, as tight as we can.
Yes, yes.
No, we know you do.
We like it
Yeah.
like that.
So, thank you for all you do. Thank you for your presentation this evening. Andrea, thank you for coming along. And no other questions from council?
No.
All right. Thank you so much.
No, you're
Thank
welcome. You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
Yep, you
All
too.
right.
Thank you.
What do you want to do now? BA?
All good.
Okay, up next, let's do business administration.
Yep. I think we should.
We saved it for last.
Oh, jeez.
Just getting your steps in.
He said, go get a cup of coffee. No.
Let's, my first up, I have computer data and processing, is that? Yeah, the IT piece.
IT stuff?
Computer data. and
You're on
processing.
mayor.
Yeah,
You're
we're
on
up to BA.
With BA.
Orange.
You
That really does help. You use the
knew
colors.
that.
So we're doing a minute.
You good, or you want mine?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Just your mail.
Yeah, roll through it. IT don't look
So-
like this.
I guess, the first question I have is on page 1, is the overtime piece.
Right.
So I saw it wasn't even, we didn't have any funding set aside in 2023. Why was that?
So we have been using a company, After Hours, that will respond to after hours. So we haven't typically been doing that. But as we're kind of reaching out and looking to do IT through all of our divisions and all of our departments, and not changing the staffing that we have for that, but allowing them to do after-hours calls. So for instance, the IT individual over at the police department, they do overtime and on-call. So we want to start making sure that we're budgeting for that and to be able to respond to that, so.
So where is that, like in that case, where is that individual, or has that individual been paid out of?
So right now, they've been paid out of a separate budget underneath the police department, right? So, but we're kind of pulling all IT services under one IT umbrella so that we really know what the cost of our IT services are.
Okay.
And so even though, like, that individual will still work for the PD IT services and still do those after-hours calls,
Okay,
then it's just going to all be in this cost center now.
okay.
Right.
It's not a large amount of money anyway, but I noticed that we haven't utilized
Right.
that, so that gives me a little more on the history.
And it was a good timing to do it. We have, like, because if you see salary and wages are lower, right,
Lower.
overall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we had a retirement. Actually, today was her last day,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's Loretta. There's
Okay.
cake downstairs if anybody wants some retirement cake.
Oh, Loretta retired. huh?
Yeah, we'll miss
She
her.
did?
Yes, today's her
Oh,
last
wow.
day.
Wow. I gotta reach out to her. Anything on computer maintenance agreements? Any questions there? I mean, there was a slight increase there of
Yeah.
3%, yeah. 3.5%, I should say.
3.5.
Yeah,
Oh, that's actually a decrease.
On our side, it says increase.
Computer maintenance?
from 2023.
No, it went up from 311 to 327.
Yeah,
I don't know, where are we?
Page 2, top of page 2.
Page 2.
Oh, you mean for that one, for that specific line?
For that
I was
specific.
looking at
Right.
the overall.
Yeah,
yeah.
so 316, which was
Went from
budgeted in
three- yeah,
23, is up to 327.
Right.
Right.
And then, what could attest to that? Just the inflationary?
Yeah, because these are what they are. These are usually software
We know what they
renewals,
are, yeah.
right? And all those licenses,
And we have a good idea what, obviously specifically what those costs are going to be,
right.
so.
And they had requested some new ones, but I think those got rejected for the most
We moved, I
part.
saw that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
Data processing went down.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of, some decreases too,
Yeah.
so I really didn't have too much on that.
Okay. Right along.
Yep.
What's next?
Next up, I have HR.
Okay.
I mean, I really didn't have too much here. Did anyone?
Wage
I mean,
increases.
There's nothing, really no significant changes. The only thing is the rental of equipment. Was that a new line item just because that's the 029? Was that 029? Was that just in previous years it wasn't budgeted for? Last year I noticed that it was almost, right on target with the budgeted amount and the actual spent. But it wasn't in there before, I guess I was.
Yeah, it's in the 23 budget. Oh, you're saying before 23?
Yeah, before 23, I didn't see any activity. There wasn't.
So I think, is that the copier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So the copier machines, and so I think before that, we didn't have the same agreement that we have now. So we basically rent the machines now and pay a
Instead
monthly
of buying them.
maintenance fee.
Okay.
So, 093 is the medical expenses and physicals. We have a Hamilton partnership now. Are we able or allowed to, is it a conflict to have them do our physicals since we're paying them already?
So no, I think we're still having discussions with them as to whether they can complete those. These are the pre-employment physicals. So, and to see whether they can actually do every aspect of those. And so if they can, then we can shift to that.
What would be the hangup, because they're not employees yet?
So, no, I don't, I think it would have to be a separate agreement that we have with them to do that.
Currently, we use RWJ, right? for
Yes.
employment?
Yes,
I mean, I know from my county job, we have people that come back from workers' comp and are forced to then stay out an extra 2 weeks because RWJ can't get them in because they're so busy. If we
Right.
have our own partnership, maybe we could save the money and get people in quick.
I agree, and I think at the very least, we should be using it as, backups for each other, right? So that you can. Fortunately, we haven't had an issue with scheduling at this point, but it's any given time that it might be difficult to get somebody in, yeah.
So Kathy, those discussions aren't being had though? You're having those?
They are.
Okay, that's great.
Good.
Good point, Councilman.
You call her Catherine? I like that.
No,
Very professional.
Now we're up to budget and purchasing.
Okay. Yep.
Save the best for last, BA. No,
Well,
I'm joking. I'm
we
joking.
have a few more. We have a Hampstead too.
Hampstead? Oh, I love Hampstead.
No?
Wait, I think I did see Hampstead though when I was going over this. Hold
Unless
on.
it's with the mayor.
Oh, yeah,
Hampstead's with the mayor.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. That's where I
Oh,
saw
did I
it.
print that
Okay.
one? Sorry.
See, you guys are getting us distracted. Go ahead,
Mhm.
let's go.
No, I didn't mean to.
All right, budget and purchasing, we're up to. I mean, these are really small items and there are a lot of negatives, so I don't really. I mean, I didn't have anything on budget and purchasing anyway. Okay, now we're up to business administration.
Okay, nothing on BNP?
What's that?
Nothing on BNP?
No, nothing.
And business administration. There you go.
So, just explain to me, we ended up taking an employee from the mayor's office and you ended up taking
That's
on
correct.
someone, okay.
So we moved, it was administrative support, and that position kind of supports not just the mayor's office, the reception area, and also in administration. So we decided to move it under, all of the administrative support under administration.
Okay.
All right.
Kath, quick question, if we could back up to page 2, under the computer maintenance. You guys requested 9,500 for this iron wave, is it called? Or-
Yeah.
Right? But yet we gave you nothing. Why is that?
Let me see.
Because that's the ARP funds that are still being utilized.
Okay,
So that
so,
9,000 will
that
be
nine-
next year.
okay. So you're getting it, but you're getting it through ARP.
Right, because we're still using Ion Wave,
Right, that's-
and it's our online RFP and bid auction site. It's been working beautifully, so. So you'll see it back probably next year, right? Yeah,
okay.
so
sorry.
administration, you were talking about, okay,
The
salary and wage.
add employee from the mayor's office, I mean,
Yep,
your overall personnel status, your overall, not flow chart, but your overall employee list here shows, I guess, just one, which is that one more increase, right? That one individual that you're obtaining from the mayor's office. That's all it, went from 4 to 3, from 3 to 4.
so
employees.
it is that one, but it's also, so the retirement we talked about in IT, the replacement for that person, because that position not only fulfilled some duties for IT, but also did mostly administrative work. So again, we're going to pull that position, the replacement, right, will come in to administration, and it'll be, of course, at a lower salary. So we'll have that, how do I say that? That position not only supported IT, also supported the assistant BA, right? Even when Mark was here before and all of that. And so we decided to pull that position completely into administration, because that's the administrative coverage, only in administration. But we left a half of the budget that was there for a computer tech that we will replace in IT,
So for,
right?
Okay.
no, go ahead.
Where was the money pulled out of? So where would we see it missing?
So it was in IT,
Okay.
in salary and wage, and you can see that went down. And I said because of a retirement, but it's also because we split the position and only left a little bit in there for, to cover the replacement there and to also cover the administrative replacement in administration.
So at the end of this year or the next few months, you'll have 5 employees that would be considered under the BA's office.
I have to look. For administration, 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4. Right?
That's what it shows on the list here,
Well-
but that retirement, I didn't know if you were saying that there was going to be an additional.
No, and actually, we have 3 administrative staff in administration, right?
Right, currently, right now. But then with the change of the one administrative position from the mayor's office to the BA,
Excuse me, John, is your mic on?
so for that one position from the mayor's office to the BA's office would make it 4. The other position for the person who retired, half of that salary is going to another position administratively. So eventually, there will be 5.
Oh, wait, I'm trying to understand the 5. Not the mayor's office, because that's different.
That's
So
different,
administration,
right? So you'll have.
we have my
you,
support, and we have,
Assistant, right?
well, that's the position that's coming from IT.
Mhm.
And then we have the receptionist who serves also us. So that's
The
3.
assistant BA in there?
Well, that position is an administrative support. I didn't think that's what they were talking about. But then you have me and the assistant BA,
And 3.
and 3. So yes, 5
5.
altogether.
Yeah.
With me, sorry. I thought you were just talking about administrative
No,
support.
no.
I'm like, wait a minute, we don't need that much.
Wait a second. All right.
Maybe we do.
That's all right.
Almost ran out of toes.
All right. That's okay. I got it. Okay. But that one administrative position has not been, that's not going to happen till later on this year. We're going to fill that position.
So we'll fill it, and I don't know how quickly we'll fill it, but, you know,
Okay.
the position just retired, so.
Yeah.
we'll take a look.
Yep. Any questions?
I just had a question on page 2 with the reduction in legal services, which I'm not arguing with.
I know.
I just wondered if it just got shifted
We're not
somewhere else.
arguing either. So if you recall, in the last couple of years, we've had a pension issue with one of our, I don't want to say former employees, but we had hired somebody who was a retiree and had some issues with pension. And so we had some legal monies in there for that defense, if you want to call it that. And so that case is done. It was resolved in our favor, which was good, and in the retirees' favor, which is as it should be. And so we don't have any need for that. We always put some in there because we don't know if something similar is going to happen, that we might need outside legal counsel for that.
I didn't have anything else. Anything?
No.
No? I think that's all under business administration, but now, I guess Kathy, you're gonna help me with the mayor's
Sure.
office? Okay.
Yep.
So the first thing I have is Hampstead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for Hampstead, how many total employees do we have?
I didn't print that.
Is it
out,
big?
did I?
What?
Hold on. I
No.
didn't print out that staff.
No.
Believe there's
Roundabout number. No.
there's 4 full-timers
Okay,
and 1
And
part-timer.
1 part-time.
okay. Now we're keeping, they're over at the call center. That's what they were gonna be.
Yes.
They
They're
will-
there now,
They'll
yes.
remain for this year. I mean, there's no plans to move them or anything like that.
Not this year. So
Okay.
when we do have the new building, they're
Okay.
incorporated in the new
Okay.
building.
Okay.
Another classmate of mine retiring, it looks like, in 25. Okay.
I didn't have any questions. noticed we've removed some noise canceling headsets. So that was a large reduction in that line item. I really didn't have anything on that. So now this brings us over to the mayor's office.
Yep.
Yep.
No, the only thing I said was, I made a suggestion to the mayor regarding maybe for us to get pins, lapel pins or something like that, just as we had them before. I thought it would be nice when we give out a commendation or a proclamation. And
Oh, sure.
I think it's a,
All right.
it'd be a nice gesture, but I know that could come out of one of the line but maybe it's maybe printing and binding. I don't know, printing and binding, but I'm sure it's not a
Big push.
Yeah.
big item there.
50
No.
cents.
Yeah,
Pretty careful.
I think we can, yeah, we can handle it. No, I didn't have any questions at all on this one.
Well, I mean, the normal.
And we're using
Planning
ARPA
and
funding for the
bonding, all
one
that stuff goes up every
for the,
year, and then you can be looking at it.
other equipment and supplies. Was that,
Which one?
Doesn't give us anything to cut.
What's
because it's the
the,
last year, I mean, it's such a small line item, it's only like, you know,
Was it a reduction?
it's huge reduction because of
Yes.
ARPA.
So, Aaron,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
it was like
Oh, yeah.
$2,300, $2,224, so it's literally a $2,000, we're using 2,000 of ARPA to cover
Yeah,
that.
that's the same thing with some of the Zoom and the other services that we've had from Slack.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Mayor, you're on time.
Anyone?
You're on time.
yes, sir.
You're doing good.
All right, that was easy
Okay.
enough. Thank you.
all right, now we're on fire.
All right, we're up to fire now. Fire Dun, dun, dun. Good evening, Chief. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
Evening, council.
Good evening, chief.
Good to see you.
Still honored to be your fire chief. Great job in the world. Just want to introduce, who's coming up. Deputy Chief Kramer's in the back, Deputy Chief Retalis, Whitney Bradbury and Caitlin Kevitt, and my Fire Marshal Scott McCormick. An amazing team, but I think you all know that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
See, council knows to turn it off when they're at the table.
I don't know if Jen did.
Tess, that's what I mean. She knows how to turn it off when it's not talking.
Picking up now.
All right.
You're right.
Right. Chief, you want to start off with the same question I asked Jen? Anything that you want to highlight before we get into the worksheets and the capital and?
I think just basically I wanted to say we're still in that integration phase of the fire department and municipality. Every day there's a new task. The IT is a big one now. We're integrating with the township. So we're really dialing, I said last year that we're dialing this budget in to see, taking 8 fire districts and their different ways of doing things and bringing them into one is really we're starting to come to fruition on we're reaping what we sowed there. That's probably terrible. We're getting the benefit of it.
Mm-hmm.
I get to honor following Chief Kramer, who did a fantastic job, and we're carrying on his legacy. But it really seems like this budget is starting to come, be very reflective and responsive to the needs of the fire department.
That's great. That's great. Any preference, guys, where we start off? I
No,
could,
just keep rolling through like you always do.
yeah, let's just go right into the worksheets. I think that's the best place to begin. So up first, I have under emergency management.
Yeah, Office of Emergency Management, just, we're having a great time. What we did was we integrated the police, public works department and the fire department under an umbrella. So we have 3 deputies from each division, and that's really coming along very well. Building an amazing emergency response team around us. A lot of support from the administration as well.
And the salary and wages are falling obviously under another category than the 011.
Well, since we have everybody's a township employee, public works.
Oh,
police
that's
department,
right, that's right.
We are concerned about, when we do have to, Hopefully we don't have to. I like that the mayor had an eclipse today, an earthquake earlier this week. He seems to keep throwing them all at us. I still see a black spot. I didn't follow the winds. So we're a little concerned about if we have to bring people back, but then again, that would probably be from those individual budgets, police, fire, public works. But a lot of that's reimbursable. Most of it's reimbursable. So,
Okay.
we did opt to leave it out this time.
If they had to bring somebody back, is that coming, if, say, somebody that's on the team is police officer, is that coming out of their budget? Is that why it's separate?
It generally does, but I think, as Chief pointed out, right, if it's a FEMA-covered emergency, then we keep track of all of that, and we submit for reimbursement and get that reimbursement. But for the initial period, right, it gets charged to whatever budget, whatever their home budget is.
And being your emergency manager, I'm under salary, so I'll be there at no cost.
Yeah, my concern was just making sure somebody else's overtime isn't coming out of your budget.
Yeah, it's still relatively new, but between the police chief and the director of public works, we have such a great relationship. I assume that's how it would work for now.
Okay. I mean, I really didn't have many,
I don't have anything for
any
emergency
comments
management.
on the emergency management.
No.
I mean, for lack of being repetitive, when it's either, a similar budget from last year, or it's negative, makes it what am I going to do? That's a difficult, call right there, to even take a look at something like that where it's going down. So,
It is nice that we built a whole Office of Emergency Management, Emergency Operations Center off of a grant, so that was a big help. Got started in the right
Yeah.
direction.
okay, up next week, any question? Okay, now we have the department.
Mm-hmm.
So, computer maintenance agreements, there's an uptick there on page 3, 024. Obviously, this is outlined here pretty clearly of what the increases are, but I guess this is just the main one that was alluded to was the Power DMS training and software program.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's just,
It's our policy-driven software.
Okay.
It's the police department uses it as well, and we're looking in the future to merge both for a cost savings. We tried to do that this year, but it just didn't quite happen in time. But it pushes policy that's electronically signed by the employees. So, and we also use it we want to expand to use it to training and everything else, but it's a nice way to keep uniformity across the department.
so we would have to, it would be an RFP process, so the next or when we go out to bid again, or would we do it in conjunction with the police department? There would be collaboration on when we put that out?
There was some this year. I wasn't happy with the vendor's response, but I think it just came in under the gun to get it renewed.
Okay,
But I think Chief Dabowski and I have full intentions of trying to get that number down.
That'd
It
be
was a
great.
6% increase.
okay, that would be great. Okay. I guess, Chief, the other comment or note I made here was the, under other professional consultant, 028, page 5 to 6, was the building repairs due to unexpected incidences of 50,000. That's just covering any repairs on the houses?
That was a policy the administration put forth mid-year, that the operating budget would have to withstand any damages to facilities that were of negligence. So we have that buffer in there that if a fire truck takes out a wall,
Wall or something like that. Okay,
we'd have to repair that.
okay.
we have any retirements coming up this year?
Possibly one, maybe two. I would assume that we're under contract negotiations, so we'd be, that would hold it off for a little bit, but nobody's professed that they're going to retire yet.
And
I know that we've had some meetings, working on some things. Did we file the grant, the SAFER grant? Did we take care of that yet?
The information's to the grant writer for, I believe, 7.
Let's do the 12th, right?
Yeah, so we have, I believe it's just the final number, which I believe the mayor wants 7 is the last thing, but that grant firm's incredible, so we're set to push the button.
oh, and what is this?
The SAFER grant would add new firefighters.
Oh, wow.
Both firefighters,
All right.
it would provide funding for that.
And this is a federal grant?
Yeah,
Oh.
we're applying for it.
All
It's
right.
out of FEMA, SAFER grant would be for 3 years,
Wow.
full. It pays for everything payroll related, so not uniform or gear, but anything that's a payroll deduction would be fully covered.
Okay.
Which is nice because it used to be 2.5 years. So we've had success in the districts with SAFER grants. We haven't yet with the division. I'm really hoping we do.
Okay.
It's a nice program from the federal
That'd be
government.
great. Chief, just, I mean, are we at all utilizing any, I don't know, do we utilize Millennium for some grants for the fire department?
Constantly.
Constantly?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The assistant BA has been amazing, and we look for anything. We throw it to them, and if we just got another $75,000 grant from the state. As you know, we got $1 million from the state earlier. We have one in FEMA that John and I looked at, Mr. Calderon, sorry. We have one in the hopper for final review for FEMA for another $75,000, I believe it was. So we're doing really well.
Okay.
with that firm. Really
Okay.
well. And
That's great.
We'll be very aggressive as we continue to
That's great.
secure any funding we can. I should say, sorry, John did get that. That was his grant, the last one, so thank you, but he should be recognized for that.
Okay.
Deputy Chief Vitalis.
Thank you.
Those were gear washers, extractors, very expensive, but part of that carcinogen, making sure we get the cancers off the gear for the guys, so really nice grant.
Okay.
I got a question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
I know how you got to the number that was requested, the firefighter physicals for 141 firemen,
Yes.
right? So it says 725 hours each, comes out to 101,500. How did we settle on 25? I'm just, just like most of the stuff I always see, it's
Page 6.
page,
Oh,
you'll see a request, say you're requesting 16,000, we give you or 6,000, we give you 4. You requested 101.5 for physicals, but we gave you 25.
I would say that'd be under fiscal responsibility, just looking at the numbers and trying to keep our budget. The budget does have a significant increase in it and looking for something, so whether we start doing them annually, like a third of the department. We also have the cancer screening, which is Senator Greenstein's bill.
Right.
We're supposed to provide, as we should, cancer screening for all firefighters. We just got those numbers, so I'm probably going to pivot that number from physicals into cancer screenings for the firefighters, but
When you have them bills like that, like you say, that's a Greenstein bill, right?
yes, sir.
Do you get funding through the state for that?
Reimbursed 1/3 per year for the next 3 years. So
Okay.
we'd have the 2/3 financial outlay, well, the initial, but annually we'd be refunded 1/3 of that
Mhm.
cost. So it'll be, if we do a few a year, it'll be kind of crazy. I'm not too sure where we get that money back from, but it is part of the grant.
All right.
I'm sorry, it's part of the bill. It's partially reimbursed by the
It just jumps out at you,
Yes,
when
sir.
you see a number 101 and we gave you 25, so
Mhm.
you're just wondering why.
I'm gonna sound like a parrot.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say,
Can we work on integrity for this
And
also?
I
This
was,
way we
I
can-
was going to jump in and say, and those are the discussions we're having as well to cover some of these physicals also. We initially went to them too for the cancer screenings, and they're not able to do those just yet, so we haven't really found, we don't know exactly what is required for the cancer screenings. So, and we really, on those, we don't have to conduct them, we have to offer them, and then encourage the folks to go, because it would behoove them and us overall, because it gives them a baseline for that whole legislation. So we're trying to work on all of that and get something in place for that, and we're hoping that Integrity can really step up and do some of these things that, have been sitting for probably several years, and, we really need to take action on them.
So they're also looking at doing the Captain Bushill testing. Currently, our insurance, when people go for this testing.
Mhm.
It's a pulmonary function testing for first responders.
Right.
It's covered by the insurance companies. Currently, the doctors that we use are all out of network, so our insurance company is getting billed astronomical amounts.
Mm.
So I know Doug is also working on getting that brought into the facility.
Yeah.
Which then would be done in network at a highly reduced cost, so all those, necessary tests, now we'll be able to do right in our home base rather than sending people to Lakewood or Newark or,
Right.
Wherever that's out of network.
It's terrific.
That'd be great.
Well, at a minimum, to just get the physicals. Yeah.
So that's what our hope is, to get that first so that we can get that out of the way, whether it's pre-employment or whether it's for the employee physicals that are necessary, so.
Yeah.
Anything else on my notes? Yeah, baby. My notes. Very nice. Anyone?
Who are we using for Class A, Class B uniforms?
Just actually, Mrs. Bradbury just changed vendors. We had a horrific start for 3 years for those.
Okay.
Action is the new vendor that she did a nice bid on it, so we're happy to work with
Did
you.
we receive a bid from Kulak Arms? And Kulak is now doing them also in Lawrence?
I was
They just opened up?
I was aware of that. I don't believe at the time of bidding that they were prepared to bid on it. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I know that's very recent, and that we'd like to work with any vendor a little closer and more
They're
responsive.
taking a lot of business, I know, from Gauls. Right now, they're stealing everybody's business, so.
We've had a lot of issues.
We gotta see if we can get them on.
Yeah, that would be, I'm sure Ms. Bradbury would be very happy if we had a different vendor to work with. She's done a tremendous job for that.
The prices for them just keep going up.
Going up, right.
There's no way to control it.
Services is a little problem as well.
Didn't we do some turnout gear? Did we do that under capital? Was that under capital before?
Yes.
It was, right?
Yes. And we did a solid on that. We did a really nice testing and bought them the best gear, which they deserve for the amount of work they're doing.
I mean, you can see Class B uniforms went up 15%.
Right.
From the vendor, yes.
Yeah.
So what happens in a situation like that? I mean, do we look at Kathy, in a situation like that? I mean, it went up 15%. Do we say time out, let's put this out again?
So, yes, and you can put it out at any time that you want, and I'm glad that we did. You also can just go with the state contract vendor, which I think is what we did or considered prior to that, right? I think wasn't Gauls the state contract vendor. So, and we had gone out to RFP before, didn't we, or not?
That might have predated me, but I know.
Yeah,
the state
so maybe I'm
contract-
not, maybe I'm thinking of other uniforms, not.
But now
by-
our thinking is like, let's
Yeah,
go
let's
out.
go out because
We're
we'll
not
get, hopefully, right,
better-
good bids on it. And, and I don't think you're alone in happy that we're changing vendors,
Yes.
so.
But our pricing is based on that increase that they're showing us, the 15% increase, goals
Yes, and absolutely, and the uniforms are contractually obligated.
obligated.
Yeah.
When does that contract expire?
The firefighters contract?
Yeah.
It's actually under negotiation.
It has, and we're currently negotiating,
Okay,
so.
all right.
The issue
That's
with the uniforms too is they're actually protection for firefighting as well. So the uniforms are just not your off-the-shelf
Right.
shirts. They do provide some protection under NFPA, so we'll try to keep the guys outfitted in the proper uniform.
Thanks, Chief.
I'm just looking at page 17 under fire and other safety equipment with a 91% increase. Was that, I'm looking at, so some of that was just, had previously been grant funded?
Some of this was rotated over, but last year's budget from the hazmat budget. If you just give me a second.
Sure.
So we merged the two budgets? Is that what happened?
From my perspective, OEM and hazmat are two very separate things, so the mayor was amenable to me taking hazmat out of the OEM budget, and OEM is solely an OEM budget.
OEM budget.
Hazmat, actually, there's a lot of movement on hazmat as well, to who's going to be financially responsible for it, but that's under negotiation, so. There's some inline pressure gauges for training, they're new. The ballistics vest, the rescue task force. So we had a lot of vests from the district date, but they're aging. The ballistics vests for this, just so you know, we're the go-to fire department and Townsend SWAT team in the county for these types of events. So those vests were purchased. Deputy Kramer, we all bought vests through the districts at different ages. So this will bring us up to being on the same cycle with those.
They're ballistic vests?
Yes.
Are they not replaceable through a grant? The police get all theirs through a grant, it's federal, it's paid for. Why are we not getting it for you guys?
That's a good question. I never reached out to the police chief for that, but I'd like to.
The ballistic vests that they're getting, why are they paying for them when we're getting federal grants for the police officers? Why can't they be covered?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I missed it. That'd be
Well,
great.
let's
That's why I
follow up
brought
with, Millennium or others and just see, we can also see what the provisions in the grant are for and whether we can even use any of those funds
Yeah,
for that,
I don't know
but
what it is, but
it's a good question.
If you get your hands on it.
can we back
Do you
up?
have specific specs for those?
Not my wheelhouse. It's not my wheelhouse, actually.
All right.
And that's why it's nice to be part of to actually go talk to the police department.
Yeah.
We do have a battalion chief who's working with the SWAT lieutenant with that.
All right.
So there is some talk, just I wasn't aware that the police department got them under grant, so I would love to be part of that.
Sure, there's,
So, I mean, our fire department was out with the shooting suspects from Pennsylvania. If they're gonna be on the same team and they're standing next, I would think that they would want the same threat level as they have.
yeah,
They do, currently right now, they have, we bought the highest protection in the district, and I believe these are the same. So we haven't, we've bought them the best gear for that, because it's relatively new to the fire service too. It's not one of those things, so we're learning as we go.
Learning curve, that's all. Can we back up to page 13 for one
Yeah.
second? So the top of page 13 is still just a continuation from 12 with the cleaning supplies. We've done a very good job. It seems you guys have really cleaned everything up of putting things where they belong. As far as like categorizing things, like I've noticed like you're taking all the IT and putting it together. So they're paying $10,000 out of their budget for cleaning supplies. Why is that not just coming out of the regular township budget? Why have we not grouped that together? Why are they buying their own stuff?
The current warehouse for the township doesn't have the products that kind of go with a 24-hour live-in operation. So there's a lot of things that the Public Works cannot provide for the fire department.
Such as what?
May I ask, I know Whitney would have sorry to put you on the spot.
Top of 13.
Whitney, come, if you wouldn't
I
mind.
apologize for, it's just something that she's taking care of, and I know the gist of it, but I'm not
Just
exactly sure.
curious what cleaning supplies we're using that the township can't get out of their budget?
Just always state your name only because they're only seeing the back of your head.
Yes,
Whitney Bradbury.
thanks, Whitney.
So specific type of floor cleaning for the engine bay, there's any type of sponges, dish soaps, multi-purpose cleaners. So for counters, tables, The township warehouse does not offer that hand soap. They don't have antibacterial hand soap. So those are disinfectant for the EMS equipment. These are supplies that we have to go out and purchase on our own.
Okay, I just thought if we could get it all together, order it all together, you're getting a bulk, maybe we're getting it at a discount rather than, I mean, it's an additional $11,000 that we're spending. I figured maybe we can order it together and.
That
see.
would be wonderful.
We could look into that too.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, it may be, if they're going through a separate vendor for their supplies, which I assume they are, and then maybe it would work best though if we were all under the same supplier. Vendor supplier.
better-
Maybe there's even a savings there.
Maybe there's a cost
Yeah.
savings, use the same vendor and getting the same.
I mean,
I don't know
obviously-
whether we go out to bid for ours or whether we go see contract, and so we want to make sure we're getting, right, the materials that they need specifically, so that, and we could include it in part, as part of an RFP or a bid spec as well, so. All right. We'll work on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Whitney. Good point again, Councilman.
Hey, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. Professional associations.
Chief, this is getting the page 19, the data processing equipment 059. Just getting the, this is page 19.
19.
Did I jump?
Yeah, that's okay, I'll go backwards.
This is for the data processing equipment. Is there, I noticed a little bit of, there was, an increase there. Once again, are we starting to blend some of the activities that we're doing with, or is it different equipment that is needed for the fire department that, that we can't go to the same vendor for those supplies?
We're currently in a migration over, and
Right.
it's a very difficult migration only because the fire service the fire districts had a very different system than what the municipal works. So
Sure.
Working with ABA Curlin, it's a slow process, so there is some stuff that's residual, but everything now lockstep with what IT wants, with the exception of the cradle points, which are the MDTs and the apparatus. I'm working on that, which I'm not too sure, I don't think it's in this line. The dash cams were a big one. The whole frontline fleet has dash cameras in it, and then we're going to continue out the rest of the fleet, so that there are video cameras on all the fire trucks recording.
Okay.
So, can I just go backwards?
Yeah.
Page 16, I'm looking at the uniform allowance. Yeah. So the uniform allowance, I know it's through the collective bargaining agreement, but the uniform allowance is 147,000, and we're also buying a lot of uniforms every year. So it's a duplication of service, right? I know it's per the contract, but.
It is per the contract,
It's
so,
a duplication that we're paying twice.
well, that's a contractual item that we'll have to discuss during negotiations, but it's basically for the maintenance of the uniforms. That's what the uniform allowance is supposed to be for. We provide uniforms in the beginning, and then to them on an annual basis, the replacements, but then the maintenance of them, cleaning of them, because again, theirs requires a little bit special treatment sometimes, depending on what materials they're working with and what calls they're going to and all of that. So it's not something you can just throw in the the washing machines there sometimes,
I'd
right?
rather put the money in the firefighters' pockets rather than
Well, we are.
duplicate.
We are anyway.
Pockets and duplicate.
That check is cut individually to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
make sure.
Okay.
I do wear a union hat during the day.
So that line item is just for cleaning that's given to,
It's an allowance that's given to each firefighter
okay.
on an annual basis. I think it's split twice a year.
Once
Or
in-
is it once?
at the end of
Once?
December, yes.
Other contracts we have, it's twice.
On 17, under recharging of fire extinguishers, you asked for 28 and we gave you 14. Is that a problem?
I don't think so.
Where did you come up with the 28, that 14 is
I don't know.
sufficient?
That, I believe, is a carryover from the hazmat budget. So that is a carryover from last year's hazmat budget.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother, the integration of police and fire into hazmat, so we haven't
Hazmat
quite
equipment.
gotten that refined yet. So I'm not too concerned about that because that was the police department recharging air extinguishers. We have plenty of extinguishers.
Okay. Just making sure.
And that line in particular is
I
for
might have misspoke.
hazmat equipment,
Yes.
right? Recharge is
Yep.
right below
Did I
that.
misspeak on that?
Just making
WG.
sure that we were good.
Oh.
That's all.
Yep, it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, hazmat, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one.
That's all right.
Apologize.
But that's why it's a bigger number, so, because he's talking about the hazmat equipment.
Yep. Most of the increase we don't even have a control over because it's the vendor's choice.
Mm-hmm.
The vendor's increase.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
almost
lot
like
of it,
garbage
yes.
pickup.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you're held hostage.
Now, on 19, you may have talked about this already when I was thinking backwards, the laptops and such.
Yes.
We were able to use ARP money last year. Do we have any ARP monies to cover laptops? I know we were able to use that in the past. Do we have anything available to help fund that for them? We used the laptops and all those things during COVID with the ARP money. Is there anything available that we can maybe pay for some of
I'd
those
have to
laptops?
look into that. Which laptops are you looking at on that line?
Looks like 059. I'm looking at 2 rugged laptops with dock and keyboard, $6,000 each, and then so on.
So the times before, and John can maybe say this better than I can, but when we've used the ARP funds for the laptops, it's really to replace a desk system, right?
Okay.
And so if these are just replacements for ones that are mobile units anyway, it doesn't really meet the requirements of ARP.
Okay. Just trying to
So-
find the way to use their
And
money.
I don't know that to be, but I'm assuming that that's the case. These are mobile units and not really replacing the desktops.
Desktops. I have any other questions. I don't know if anyone else does.
No.
Okay, let's jump over to capital.
Capital.
So for the one that I noticed, the vehicle exhaust removal systems, I noticed this the requested amount and the recommended amount. So this was for all the stations,
Yes.
and now this is going to be just like, we're going to do this
Probably one station annually.
slow walk it a little bit. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. You really only had the two, right? Was it the apparatus, the breathing apparatus was the other one that I noticed, right?
Vehicle exhaust removal system.
Yeah,
That's the one we just, yeah.
yeah, breathing. The 8 to 4 for the breathing apparatus, I think that's what we put for the
Yeah.
capital, but I don't think there was, I didn't see anything else, maybe I overlooked.
SCBA's will be applying for a grant, that's a big ticket. The self-contained breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
is a huge ticket item.
And there's grant funding for that we can
Yeah,
pursue?
I had success, the district's had success, so we'll try again.
Okay,
You know, that was one station, eight companies worth of SCBA's is, that'll be some
Okay.
sticker shock.
no questions on the capital. There were only two items. I guess, Chief, how are we doing on fire inspections? I know Scott's here. Everything, just how's that looking at this point in time of the year?
It's a tremendous department. Just their public service record is just fantastic. I wouldn't have the numbers, but it seems like a well-oiled machine. That department is just running on all cylinders, responsive to the community. So
Good.
I don't know if that answers your question, but it's
That's fine, yeah, yeah.
fire marshal department does a tremendous job over there.
Thank you,
With
Scott.
the staff
Yeah,
of
thank you,
seven, he's down to 5 right now.
Okay.
We're looking to replace 2. We had an unfortunate loss of one of the employees.
Oh,
So
okay.
looking forward to filling them out.
Okay.
He's getting the job done as he always does.
Anyone have any other?
I'm nothing.
No.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for your time this evening. Thank you
Thank you very much.
for the team that you assembled. And I know this is a little bit of a transition as we move forward with just the department under the municipal government, and I think there's going to be better synergy as we move forward. But there's things that we've done in the past as separate districts that eventually are going to have to work their way, and there's eventually going to be better cost savings for that for some of the line items that we went over this evening. But thank you for coming here this evening, and I appreciate the report.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, gentlemen.
and always your service to our community. Thank you, Chief.
It's our pleasure, sir.
No more? All right. Meeting adjourned.
Very
job.
efficient here. Very efficient here.